Now, your latest headlines and 7 First Alert forecast from 7 Action News.
Well, we continue to follow new developments in the stunning plot to kill Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. The FBI, along with state police and other law enforcement agencies, breaking up the alleged plot. Take a look at some of the 13 suspects charged with conspiracy to kidnap and kill Governor Whitmer, along with a plan to target police and the Michigan State Capitol. 6 face federal charges of conspiracy to kidnap, which carries life sentences. The other 7 face state charges of terrorism and gun charges. The FBI conducting raids across the state, making arrests in Belleville all the way up to Cadillac. Governor Whitmer spoke to CNN last night, saying she appealed to the legislature and the White House about her safety in the past.
I was aware of a lot of the threats that were being made against me and my family, and I asked for their help, and they didn't do a darn thing about it, and then denied even knowing that it was a problem.
Now, the governor fired back on Twitter, saying in part that his Justice Department foiled a dangerous plot and, quote, rather than say thank you, she calls me a white supremacist, while Biden and Democrats refuse to condemn Antifa, anarchists, looters, and mobs that burn down Democrat-run cities. Well, now the governor is responding to that tweet. 7 Action News reporter Rudy Harper is breaking down the war of words.
Well, reaction pouring in from all sides on social media. A tweet storm by the president, 3 tweets in fact, and the governor firing back, telling the president she thought he wasn't interested in a virtual debate. A war of words from the state capitol in Lansing to the White House. President Trump tweeting directly at Governor Whitmer. He says she's done a terrible job. She locked down her state for everyone except her husband's boating activities. He took credit for the foiled plot against the governor and added, rather than say thank you, she calls me a white supremacist.
13 members of 2 militia groups who were preparing to kidnap and possibly kill me.
An angry Governor Whitmer lashed out at President Trump for, quote, stoking hate and called the suspects sick and depraved men.
Just last week, the President of the United States stood before the American people and refused to condemn white supremacists and hate groups like these 2 Michigan militia groups.
Whitmer went on to say, when our leaders speak, their words matter. Months ago, protests erupted over pandemic restrictions at the state capitol. Some armed protesters made their way inside. And this tweet by President Trump getting renewed attention. On April 17th, he tweeted, "Liberate Michigan." Michigan Senate Majority Leader Mike Shirkey also reacting on social media. He said in part on Twitter, "A threat against our governor is a threat against us all. We condemn those who plotted against her and our government. They are not patriots. There is no honor in their actions." And former Vice President Joe Biden on the campaign trail said to press members, "There is no place for hate in America, and both of us have been talking about this for some time, about how white supremacists and these militias are a genuine threat." Biden also complimenting the FBI and the multiple law enforcement agencies on top of this case. The president also said in those series of tweets that he does not tolerate any extreme violence. In Detroit, I'm Rudy Harper, 7 Action News.
Well, this morning we continue to learn more about the 13 suspects and their background. 7 Action News reporter Brett Cass breaks down what we know so far.
These 13 men facing charges, all vary in age, come from different parts of the state and even out of state, but all of them are accused of being involved in this plot to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer. As 7 Action News cameras rolled, federal investigators raided a home Wednesday in Heartland. Unknown at the time, raids were happening all over the state, including here on Beach Drive in Lake Orion.
We're no action. Nothing ever happens. How safe are we here? And then, boom, this.
This home is where 23-year-old Daniel Harris lived with his family. His family didn't answer the door, but the home is one of the locations where federal investigators say the group met to discuss their plan to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer.
Hard to believe. Hard to believe. I'm not a fan, but hard to believe that something like that would be even considered.
According to investigators, 2 of the men facing charges, Joseph Morrison and Peter Masuko, were founding members of the Wolverine Militia, an anti-government militia group based in Jackson County, where they allegedly trained for operations like kidnapping the governor and taking over Michigan's capital.
The individuals in custody are suspected to have attempted to identify the home addresses of law enforcement officers in order to target them, made threats of violence intended to instigate a civil war.
The FBI and state police have been investigating the group, known for recruiting members over Facebook. Investigators say the group is also connected to the Boogaloo movement, which aims to start a civil war.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
As an armored truck, FBI and state police lined this small dirt road in Lake Orion, those looking on had no idea a plot to overthrow the government was at the center of it all.
I kind of feel sorry for the parents, because that's who they made come out. So it was kind of, like, wow, now that I know why, so it's kind of sad.
Now, that meeting here in Lake Orion and many of the other meetings were all recorded on tape because one of the members attending these meetings was actually an FBI informant wearing a wire. Reporting here in Lake Orion, I'm Brett Cast, 7 Action News.
Well, evacuations are once again underway in Louisiana as Hurricane Delta inches closer to the Gulf Coast. The now Category 3 storm could bring life-threatening storm surge to the same area impacted by Hurricane Laura just 6 weeks ago. Hurricane Delta is expected to make landfall later today. And this has already been a remarkable tropical storm season. We've already run through the traditional alphabet. We're in the Greek alphabet now, and these storms are still strong, too. That's a major hurricane.
Absolutely. The water's so warm, too, through the Gulf right now, Keenan. All the dynamics, there really isn't a whole lot to kind of rip this hurricane apart, so to speak. So it continues to strengthen as it moves toward land. And we're looking at 120-mile-per-hour winds gusting to 150 right now, 200 miles south of Cameron, Louisiana. So we're looking at areas like Lake Charles, Louisiana, possible landfall there as a Category 3. So we look right now at the track. Movement is north at 12 miles per hour. We look at it, and again, this is just an update just now. So either 3 or even a strong 2 as we go into the evening hours. Regardless, it is going to be one of those storms with tremendous storm surge and inundating, flooding rains, which is going to be a huge problem. And also, we always look at that risk for tornadoes and severe threat as we go through, again, the hurricane itself. And then moving toward Alexandra tomorrow, and that'll be mainly through the overnight hours into early Saturday. And then an area of low pressure as it moves into northern Mississippi, bringing some heavy rain. And then that rain will continue through Tennessee into Kentucky. We may even see a little bit of that here at home in a pattern by Monday and Tuesday. So something we'll watch. But warm for us back here through the weekend. We're talking 60s and 70s. Not much rain, very slight chance tomorrow. We'll talk about that and then more next week, and then some changes in temperatures. But it is a cool start. 36 in Ann Arbor, 39 in Pontiac. It is 42 degrees in Mount Clemens, but at least we're starting clear. We have just a weak warm front that'll lift through the Great Lakes. High pressure is really dominating, bring us the dry weather today, but that weak area of low pressure and that warm front will bring us into the mid 70s, 80 for Chicago, 83 in Cincinnati. So there's plenty of warmth to work with, and it really does stick around for the next couple of days. So for us today, mid 70s, warm sunshine this afternoon, beautiful dry through the evening hours, and then we get into tomorrow, and I just added a 20% chance for a sprinkle or two. Again, this is this evening. We're still in great shape for Friday evening, tonight into tomorrow morning. By 10 o'clock, notice up towards Saginaw, the Thumb, maybe a sprinkle or brief shower as that front continues to settle southward. So once again, we get into the afternoon and may be brief, but just don't be surprised if you get a brief shower or sprinkle tomorrow. But again, it doesn't look like much. Temperatures today, 75, well above that average of 64. And then tonight we'll drop down into the low 60s. So it certainly is going to be a milder start to your Saturday. Warm day overall, upper 60s on Sunday, still warm to start the week, and then a little cooler by the end of next week.
These have been your latest headlines and 7 First Alert forecast from 7 Action News.